Hello and welcome to Callisto's live YouTube channel. Today we're just going to be going over 5 things that helped me become a profitable trader, starting from number 5 and then working our way to what I think is the most important. Hopefully you can see the text above. It's not too blurry or things like that. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to touch on is what I found quite late on in my trading journey was sessions and time, like times, the best times to trade, right? Whereas when I first started trading, I didn't, no one really told me that kind of information. It was kind of just like, here's a strategy, here's the charts, so trade the strategy. But I think it was a year into my trading journey. I started, when I first got into trading, I was brand new. I was a newbie. I didn't know about London session, Asian session, New York session, when markets open in different countries, things like that. So once I started to learn that information myself, I realized it's very important choosing your times when to trade, whichever time suits you, of course. And one thing for certain is, I believe, that you should not be trading Asian session, because for me, with my style of trading, the most volume, and I look for volume, and momentum, things like that, volatility, that happens during obviously pre London, London Open, pre New York, New York Open, of course. So for my strategy, I recommend, and what I started to implement is to not trade Asian session. And when I stopped doing that, I started to see much better results consistently, as whenever I saw a setup, I would take that trade no matter what time, things like that. So that is, for me, something that drastically did help amongst the other 4 things that I'm going to talk about, did drastically help me in becoming consistently profitable. And it's all about structure, right? It's all about a plan, a structure, and sticking to that plan. So a session, sticking to 1 session or 2 sessions, and learning that when the volume comes in, how to take advantage of that, right? So that is, for me personally, that is pre-London, London Open, pre-New York, and New York Open, right? In between, like say you get London Open and then you get a few hours in between there for New York, pre-New York, and New York Open, can go a little bit stale sometimes, not all the time, but generally you want to stick to those sessions, London and New York sessions, and stay away from Asia session is what I did, which helped me become profitable. Number 4 would be pairs. When I first started trading, I did start looking at way too many pairs, right? If I'm pretty sure you guys can see the screen, but if you go, when you first start trading, you go on TradingView or whatever you use, and you go onto forex, and then you just have endless amounts of pairs here, just incredible amounts of pairs, that really it's not necessary to trade. So when I started, when I first started trading, I was trading maybe like 20 pairs, and it got very overwhelming. You're entering like 5, 6, 7 trades a day, because you're watching all these pairs and all these setups are happening, and you're entering all these trades. It can get very overwhelming very quickly, and it can lead, if it's a bad day and you take, the markets just do not go in your favor that day, you can take 5, 6, 7 losses in that one day. It's not favorable, especially for your psychology when it comes to trading, right? So what I did was I eliminated, I looked at major pairs that I can trade where it suits so that goes hand in hand with the sessions then, right? So I looked at London session and New York session, and then I looked at the major pairs which during those sessions move the most or have the most volume, right? So for example, GBP JPY, that is the Great British Pound, and of course that is London session, pre-London, London Open. That is when the pound is most volatile, has the most volume, because obviously that's when the London markets open, and Great British Pound is obviously the currency of England and London. So and again, Euro USD, New York session. USD is when New York market opens. So Euro USD can have a lot of volume and volatility during New York, pre-New York, right? So when I started doing that again, in hand with the sessions, trading the pairs which fit the sessions, which have the most volume, is when I really started to see a change in my profitability, right? So I stick to GBP, JPY, and Euro USD, but I do have USD, CHF, and gold in there, which, sorry, that's my phone, which I don't necessarily trade. I like to look at and analyze. And I am starting to, I haven't took a trade on gold yet. I'm just analyzing it, building up my data to be able to potentially trade it in the coming months or next year. But I have started trading USD CHF as well. So I have 3 pairs, right? 3 main pairs that I trade, that I watch every single day. I watch how they move, their patterns, price action, how they set up, how the entries for trades set up, things like that. So again, in hand with the other one. So that's sessions, getting the right time with the right pairs, and only trading 1 or 2, 3 pairs, really, max 4. You don't really want to go over 4 or 5. It can get very overwhelming. And you'll see that a lot of the time when you're trading that many pairs, they kind of move the same and the setups will happen at the same time. Maybe just in opposite directions, right? So that is number 4. Number 3 is simplicity, right? When I first started trading, I had way too many indicators on my charts. We all go through it, from moving averages, RSI, divergence, Fibonacci's, trend lines. If I just go on to indicators here real quick, and we go to community strips, trending, you've got smart money concepts, volume profiles, you've got squeeze momentum, RSI, MACD, super trend, Bollinger Bands, Fibonacci, moving averages, ribbons, slingshot system, all these things that when I first started out and I learned about indicators, I was like, damn, yeah, put this on my chart, put that on my chart, use the RSI to catch divergence and catch the reversal, things like that. That wasn't a good time for me, right? Obviously, you can use indicators to align with your strategy, but first of all, you need to learn price action, right? The basics of trading: price action, trend, patterns, the way the market forms, higher time frame analysis, fundamental analysis. You need to learn all the basics of trading, and then you can implement potentially some indicators which can help you with your strategy, but not so that you are relying on these indicators to take trades and enter the market, right? I did that at the start. I used all kinds, RSI, MA, EMA, crossovers, divergence, all these things to try and create a strategy. And of course, it does work sometimes, but in the long run, I've found that it doesn't work. It is my recommendation. And when I started focusing more on price action, candlesticks, trend, the way the market moves, patterns, the way it sets up, support, basic supports, key levels, resistances, and then again, hand in hand with the certain times that you're trading and the pairs that you're trading. Once you start trading 2 pairs at the same time every single day, and you start watching it and learning the way it moves and the way it sets up, the price action, the candlesticks, you're going to start learning that pair inside out. You don't need any indicators, right? So it's my recommendation. And when I stopped using indicators on my charts and just focused on price action and trend and specific times of days for those specific pairs to trade, that is when I saw a massive difference in my trading. I started to become profitable consistently, right? Obviously, you have your losing days, your break-even days, your break-even months. But when I really focused on those things and got rid of indicators, got rid of relying on indicators, that's when I saw a massive turnaround in my trading. So I highly recommend getting rid of the indicators, start relying on indicators, put the time in, put the effort in to learn the price action, the trend, specific pairs that you want to trade at specific times every single day, and you will start to become profitable. I promise that. Number 2 is risk management, right? This should go without saying, right? This should be the number one thing that people stick to the most or apply to their trading strategy the most, but they don't. And of course, again, at the start, I didn't, because I didn't know about it too much. So, risk management, what is that? So depending on your account size, you should only be risking 1% of your account per trade, right? And in the past, when I did 2 or 3%, when I thought, 1%, I'll start doing 2 or 3%. Psychology wise, when you first start trading, it messes with you way too much, right? So even from me going from risking 2% per trade down to 1% helped me, psychologically wise, massively, right? When I was entering trades, risking 2%, I was going, 2% of my account, this is $200, like, and seeing me losing $200 each time, it did have effect on me mentally, and it did affect my confidence when I did have a couple losing trades, because then you have a couple losing trades and say risking 2% of your account is $200 or $400, that's $800 that you've lost in 2 trades, right? Mentally, that starts to mess with you. So for me, going from risking 2 or 3% down to 1% per trade helped me massively. And I highly recommend only risking 1% of your account per trade. And you will start to see the difference in your confidence, right? You do start taking more trades because you are confident in, and you're not so scared to lose high amounts of money. You're only losing, say, $100 or something a lot smaller than risking the 2 or 3%. And the other part to the risk management, which I highly recommend as well, and which when I started doing, again, helped me massively in my trading, becoming profitable consistently, was taking 1 or 2 trades a day, right? Max 3. You want to stick at max 3 trades a day. You don't want to take any more trades than that, but you want to stick to 1 or 2 trades a day. I did put max 2 here, but I didn't mean to put max 3. So yeah, generally when people will take a loss or a couple losses, they revenge trade, right? And I did that again. I did that at the start as well. But if you get into that routine and that mental state of, okay, I'm going to take 1 or 2 trades a day, and if you take a loss for the day, just go, okay, you know what, I've took a loss for the day, I'm going to close the charts and I'm going to come back tomorrow. Because the markets will always be here, right? There'll always be another setup, and they'll always be here. The markets are just not going to go away tomorrow when you have a losing trade and never come back, and you're not going to be able to have the chance to trade again, right? So the markets will always be there. If you take a losing trade and it affects you, right? Now this is where it's important. If it affects you and you start getting upset, angry, you start looking at revenge trading, that's when you need to walk away from the charts, right? You need to walk away. So if you take that one loss and it affects you, walk away. If you take a loss and you're thinking, okay, I had that entry, it didn't go as planned, maybe I got in a little bit too soon, but it looks like price is again coming back to where I want to enter, I might give this trade a second chance, right? So giving it a second chance is fine if you are in the right state of mind to do so. So this one actually massively helped my trading the most. And yeah, so that is sticking to max 3 trades a day or 1 or 2 trades a day. You want to stick to that 100%. You start doing that, you will 100% see a difference in your trading, I promise you. And then last but not least, finding your strategy and sticking to it over time. And I was, again, over the last 4 or so years since I've been in trading, I've had so many different strategies, right? And you find the strategy, it goes well, you take a few trades, you get a few winning trades, and you start seeing dollar signs, you start thinking, oh my God, I can buy this, I can buy that, I'm going to be rich. And then over the next few weeks, you find it very hard to get another winning trade, right? And you lose all those profits that you made, and you go, damn it, this strategy doesn't work, I'm moving on to the next one. So again, I did this a lot. Again, when I first started trading, I had a strategy, I had a few winning trades, then had a few losing trades, and I went on a bit of a losing streak, and you go, forget this strategy, man, it's not working anymore, I'm going to move on to the next one. And then you do that again, and you rinse and repeat month after year, right? So finding, and then this goes also hand in hand with everything, right? All links. to number 2, 3, and 4 and 5, right? So again, find the time, sessions, sticking to your session, New York or London or both, if you have the chance to do that. Some people who live in New York will have to get up at like 3 a.m. in the morning to trade London, so they'll only trade New York. So just stick to New York and don't trade Asian and those kind of things, right? If you can trade both London and New York, that's great. But yeah, one session, one time, 1 or 2 pairs during those sessions, clean charts, no indicators, relying on price action, volume, trend. Risk management, only risking 1% per trade and only taking 1 or 2 trades a day, max 3. And then your strategy, right? Sticking to it, give it a year, right? You need to back test, of course, but stick to your strategy. If you have a good week and then the next week you have a bad week, don't change your strategy, right? This is just market cycles. These things happen. But that's when your risk management comes into play, right? And you only want to risk 1%, but you want to look at high risk, high reward trades, right? So when I trade, I risk 1%, but I make 5%. So I do a 1 to 5 risk reward ratio on all my trades. So if I have a winning trade, that's 5% I've made, and then I can have 2 losing trades after that, and I'm still up 3%, right? So you want to be low risk, high reward. That is what you want to focus on, and sticking to your strategy over time, right? Building up the data, building up your confidence, and building up your knowledge about this strategy, and implementing all those things that I talked about previously into this strategy. And I promise you, you will become more profitable consistently, or you'll be break even, and you will not be a losing trader who's losing money week after week, year after year, right? I promise you. So that is that. Think of that. Let me take a quick look. Find Yep, that is covered everything there. So I hope this video was useful to you guys. I hope you are able to process some of that information. I have been trading for 4 years. Over the last year is when I've become consistently profitable. And I did, obviously, like a lot of people, struggle at the beginning, but I do believe only the strong survive in this industry. I'm not a quitter. I will never quit. And I will not stop until I am number 1, completely the best trader in this world, personally, as well. Those are my goals. So, if you're finding it hard, if you're having a tough time, implement these 5 things into your trading. I promise you, you will have a better time trading. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. If you have any other ideas on content that you want to see, any other videos you want me to do, also leave them in the comments below. I would really appreciate your love. So like and subscribe to the channel. It would help me out massively. I do enjoy making these videos, so I'd love to make some more, and I will make some more. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.